says that, but it also says, here are the exceptions. If you're in high school, you're in college, you're getting a GED, you're in job training, you're taking care of a child, or you're taking care of an older person, or you're unemployed through no fault of your own. Well, whoever thinks it's their own fault.
Oh, good Lord.
What this bill really says is you have to be employed except if you're not.
You see, this is why you're so important, because the fact of the matter is people aren't really going through this bill. We're dealing with platitudes and mythology and stereotypes. And, and also, they have no intention of securing the border. Do you know how I know, Betsy? Because they won't do it.
No.
All they have to do is secure the border first, and then we can have these discussions, but they won't do it.
I'm a pro-immigration person, as I'm sure you are. We're a nation of immigrants, and we're better for it. My whole family came from other parts of the world. But the fact is, we, the people, also have to pay the bills. And so the members of Congress should deal honestly with us instead of cooking the books.
What do you think about this effort by some in Congress to expand Obamacare to apply to people who aren't citizens?
Well, as you know, under the current Obama health law, legal immigrants are immediately entitled to full subsidies on the health insurance exchanges. So I think you're asking me about illegals. And
no, about the probationary period. They have this probationary period.
No,
yeah.
I don't think people who entered the country illegally and are then on provisional status should be entitled to all these benefits.
But there are people pushing for it.
Oh, of course they are. And by the way, there's another provision in the immigration bill that sets up a task force to propose legislation to offer many more benefits to immigrants. And so the question I would ask is, what are the plans to change the laws after this is passed and offer immigrants many, many more benefits than they currently are entitled to? Because that's what the bill says.
And you and I know these are always quote-unquote first steps. I mean, I hear people come on my program, like my friend Paul Ryan, and he says, this will create economic growth. And I think to myself, we're teaching people who come here to be part of the welfare state, not part of the capitalist system. And so how do you expect people to assimilate into a market notion of how our country should work when the law provides and all the pressure is for people to get on public assistance?
That's right. And that's why the most dangerous part of the immigration bill and the most insidious part of the health care law are these portions that outsource critical functions of government to these community activists, because it's a recreation of the system that was in place for so long, where go to the boss, get all the benefits in exchange for voting for that person or for that party. Our two-party system is at risk of permanent destruction because of these provisions.
Well, this is just more appalling, and the idea that the Republicans are going along with this is absolutely disgusting to me.
Yes, and in the Obama health law, these community activists are permanently funded because after the first year, they don't depend on a grant from Washington anymore. The funding for those community activists come right out of the exchange revenues. A piece of every premium that is paid by somebody on that exchange goes to the AFL-CIO, the NAACP.
Oh, my goodness. Groups. Well, let me ask you this, and how do you explain some of these Republican governors who've signed on to this?
They were very foolish.
Mm-hmm. And they run around talking about themselves as fiscal conservatives.
Yes, and then talking about their bipartisanship as if it were something of merit. Really, what I see, Mark, is that the Republican Party is lacking in moral self-confidence.
That's a good way to put it. The Republican Party, Betsy, needs a conservative, free market, constitutionalist leader.
And I'm so glad you included the word constitutionalist, somebody who understands the Constitution, who knows it inside and out, and who is committed to protecting it.
Amen. Well, you're great, and we're going to have you back because you're a one and only, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and you are the voice of freedom for this nation.
Aren't you sweet? Well, thank you, Betsy. God bless you. You take care. She is good.